Hey, what's up folks, how's it going? This is Watch. Hope you guys are all doing well, and today we're going to be talking about what's in my tech backpack, specifically my mobile office rig slash setup. Basically, we're going to be talking about some of my favorite on-the-go tech items, something that will enhance your traveling experience as well as bring the power and flexibility of a full desktop computing experience anywhere you go. Now, before we get into what backpack I'm using and the products inside, I do want to mention our sponsor that made this video possible in the first place, and that's Skillshare. Now, if you don't know already, Skillshare is one of the biggest online learning communities out there, designed for anybody that wants to broaden their horizons or knowledge on a given topic, whether that's involving more creative endeavors such as in physical fine art or digital content creation. Perhaps you want to master or learn for the first time on how to use things like Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, etc., or you want to increase your productivity and marketing skills. Chances are there's probably a class on Skillshare.com that's suited perfectly for your knowledge base and your skill level. Now, me being a tech YouTuber myself, I definitely have to recommend that you guys check out the brand new class that Skillshare just launched with Marques Brownlee of MKBHD, where he talks about the secret to his success and how he creates his awesome YouTube content, from initial conception to research, scripting, shooting, editing, and then finally posting the content on the YouTube platform. So if you're interested in maybe creating your own tech channel or just interested in his process, definitely check out that class. Now, if you're interested in Skillshare Premium, where you get access to all these awesome classes, definitely click on the description down below. The first 1,000 subscribers to use that link and to sign up get a free 1-month trial of the premium service. We want to thank Skillshare so much for the continuing support of our channel. Now, coming back to the topic at hand, in terms of the actual backpack that we're using, this is the Bison Denim. It has an expandable zipper layer in between, which allows it to expand up to 2.4 inches. It's going to be super important, especially when you're going to start loading this thing up. In terms of durability, it's definitely not bulletproof. It uses fairly conventional backpack build materials: Oxford microfiber leather, polyester lining, heavy-duty rust-resistant hardware for the zippers, and it does have nice padded shoulder straps, so if you do have heavy contents inside the backpack, it's fairly comfortable to use for a prolonged period of time. This thing is definitely not bulletproof, so you definitely don't want to be throwing it across the room or anything like that, especially if you have sensitive electronic equipment inside, but it does have all the essential pockets you're going to need, as well as an outboard USB charging system, so if you have a power bank like what we have inside, you can actually connect a smartphone or whatever you want to charge directly to this port on the backpack. Now, diving into the first pocket, the first thing that we see is our Apple AirPod Pros, basically just our standard wireless headphones that we're going to be using on the go. And then we have a Samsung T7 1TB portable SSD drive. This is interfacing with USB 3.2. It's a Gen 2 interface, so it can transfer data up to 10 gigabits a second. And we also have some miscellaneous cables, specifically for our ZBack Triscreen 2 monitors, as well as other charging cables, etc. Next, located in the second pocket, we have a foldable 70-watt solar panel charger. This, in its expanded position, has 3 output connections, 2 USB Type-A connections that will supply 5 volts at up to 2.4 amps, as well as a DC connection that will supply 18 volts up to 3 amps. Now, obviously, the amperage and the voltage will depend upon how much sun is exposed to the panels. Now, this is basically for kind of emergency situations where I don't have access to the mains power, perhaps on a hike or on some sort of camping trip. A lot of people use these foldable solar panels to charge their smartphone. You could also charge a external power bank or even the MacBook Pro, granted very slowly, but it is possible nonetheless with this thing. Now, continuing forward and opening up the main pocket of this backpack, we do have several mini little pockets located on the upper portion of the main cavity. And here we're storing our USB-C hub for our MacBook Pro, which is pretty much essential to have. This is from ZBack. It has a full-size HDMI connection, plenty of USB Type-A and C connections, and an SD card reader, pretty much essential for my specific needs at the time. After that, we have our ZBack Triscreen 2. Now we've done a dedicated video on this. It's basically a dual monitor setup that will allow you to attach to any laptop out there. We're specifically using it on our Intel-based MacBook Pro, which essentially allows to power and run each of these displays using just one USB-C or Thunderbolt connection. Essential to have, especially if you want to increase productivity and screen real estate on a laptop style setup. The coolest thing about the ZBack system is that it's ultra portable thanks to its foldable design. It basically has the same footprint as the 13-inch MacBook Pro, so you can easily fit it in a backpack like this and still have room to spare for other goodies, such as one of my favorite wireless headsets out there, the Corsair Virtuoso RGB Wireless XT. This is a large 50mm driver inside, has 7.1 surround sound enabled, dual wireless connection options for both universal compatible Bluetooth as well as their hyper-fast slipstream technology using their USB adapter. Additionally, you also have a detachable omnidirectional high bandwidth microphone that has broadcast level quality, and apart from the 18-hour battery life, exceptional build quality, just a fantastic overall headset, optimal for really any kind of usage you can throw at it. Furthermore, in terms of the power bank that we're using a 97 watt-hour bank from AIMTOM. It has a total capacity of 26,800 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts. Should be enough to supply power for our 13-inch MacBook Pro with our tri-screen ZBack screens for a couple of days, not to mention charge things like our AirPod Pros, Corsair headsets, smartphone, etc. for anywhere between 3 to 5 days, depending upon my power usage. And it is also possible to charge this power bank using our X-Dragon solar panel setup, although it definitely will take a long time to fully charge that, especially if you don't have adequate sun exposure and enough time to do so. Last but not least, we have the heart of the setup, which is our 2019 version of the MacBook Pro. This is actually the Intel-based version using a Core i5 quad-core processor clocked at 2.4 gigahertz, can turbo up to 4.1 gigahertz. Now, the reason why I'm not using the newer M1 based MacBook Pro is that it doesn't natively run Windows. As a dual boot system, you have to run it as a virtual machine, which isn't going to fly with my particular needs at the time. Additionally, if you plan to use the ZBack Triscreen 2 setup and don't want to get their special adapter, it is a plug and play process with an Intel based MacBook, versus if you do intend to use the M1, you are going to need to use their special adapter, which will allow you to use the Triscreen 2s with the new generation M1, which is good, but I don't want to mess around with adapters, and it's a much more simpler and cleaner setup this way with the Intel-based MacBook Pro. But besides that, guys, that's really it. Some may argue that I'm missing some peripherals, mainly a Magic Mouse or perhaps an MX Master Logitech mouse, but I really actually like using the large trackpad on the MacBook Pro, and the new Magic keyboard is also fantastic to type on as well, so I'm not really missing out on too much at this point, but perhaps I might expand to other peripherals down the road, but I'm fairly happy with this particular setup at the moment. Big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this content. If you guys are again interested in signing up for a free trial, check out the description down below, as well as check out the description for a detailed product links of everything we've talked about. Those are Amazon affiliate links, so it helps support and continuing to grow the channel. Big thanks to you guys for using our links. That helps us out tremendously. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you've liked the video and have post notifications turned on, as well as subscribed if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.